Subscribe to JB dragmotoxboss. It's free, easy, and you can always unsubscribe at any time. My goal is 1.5k subscribers by October 1st. If I hit 1.5k subscribers, I will record a video where I start from scratch on a Lumber Tycoon 2 base and see how much money I can make in 6 hours. So subscribe. Also, go subscribe to my friend Jake the Fox. He wants to get to 300 subscribers, so go subscribe to him. Throughout my life, I do, I hate when the camera does that. I do something that is very unique, stands out, and is not average, and that is running the channel, that of JB dragmotoxboss. And the more my channel has advanced, the more people I meet, and the more experiences I hear of, and the more personalities I discover, and the more just everything. All right, this video, I'm gonna talk about something very interesting. All right, this is not a life lesson video. This is a story video, just like the last one. The last one was a story video too. I thought that would get more views than it does have right now. I don't know what happened, but like, you know, my channel blew up from that one video, and now it's dead. It's dead again. I mean, I'm glad that I got pushed over the 1.3k mark, but you know, I want to get some more subs. Now, I hope that I can get pushed over the 1.4k mark before I go back to school, but honestly, I know that that may very much not be a reality, all right? I don't mind that much because, you know, I just run this channel as a hobby, all right? That's usually what I do. I never signed up for, well, yes, I technically did, like, well, no. I never signed. Okay, I never. The point of what I'm trying to say is that I never signed up to do YouTube just to get subscribers and money and clout and stuff. I did this to inspire people, to change people's lives, to make people happier. Yeah, and to also be, you know, ever since I was little, I always wanted to be like, you know, I always wanted to have, you know, a sense of control over how much, like, a certain amount of content can be produced. I kind of like having that, like, larger role of, like, being the creator of something, you know, and, you know, that leadership role. Now, not everybody wants that role, but I can tell you I definitely do want that role. As my channel continues and gets more popular, and as time, you know, moves on and stuff, I meet more people and I learn about more experiences. Now, not every single YouTuber, and most YouTubers, you know, usually do not connect with their fans. They usually just make content, you know, get popularity from it, also gain money from it, and like the attention and the fame, and then just move on with their lives and, you know, create more, you know, very popular videos, and then just hang out with friends. That's about it. That's usually what most YouTubers keep their content to, all right? And, you know, I bet that some of them have, like, this aspect that, like, you know, fans of your channel are not friends. They're just people who enjoy the content. And how I view it is I view it a little differently, and Apton does too, I'm pretty sure at least. You know, he, like, you know, connects a little bit with his fans, but I go beyond that, and I go many steps further. Now, the way my personality is and the way I am causes me to be like this. And I've always said to myself that if I've ever gained any sort of popularity or fame, that I would get to know the fans on a deeper level. You know, I would be like, hey, I want to, you know, if I had that power, I would want to, like, make their day by, you know, being their friend. AKA being friends with my fans. That would be amazing. I would definitely want to do that. I think this links into my ambitious attitude of life. Whenever I can do a lot of something, or I start something or whatever, I want to do it to an extreme level, all right? When I started building Hilton High School, the Piggy map, I made it humongous. When I am going to build JB's Palace in JB dragmotoxboss SMP Season 3, I'm going to make it humongous. When I stock up during stock up season, I stock up a lot. All right. Now, getting to know my fans does backfire a little bit. When you become friends with your fans, you kind of lose, you know, they lose the looking up to. Well, as much looking up to. They probably still, you know, my fans probably still look up to me, but they don't, you know, the sense of intimidation and the sense of looking up decreases. And, you know, sometimes even the sense of respect, you know, goes down too. Usually it's fine, but sometimes it can get a little unfortunate. Like, you know, for example, Astro Alex. If I hadn't become so much, like, good friends of Astro Alex, you know, he would probably respect me much more than he does now. But maybe he's a different case. Maybe, you know, he did say that he doesn't really like my content. Okay, let's talk about someone else. All right, for example, Vin. Let's talk about Vin. Vin watches my content and likes it. But, you know, the sense of respect goes down because there's no more intimidation. Therefore, the level of respect goes down. I'm not saying that he does not respect me. He actually does respect me very well, but there still is a level of respect that goes down. Whenever you're speaking to a YouTuber that, you know, you hardly have ever made a connection with, there is definitely a lot of intimidation and, you know, a lot of, like, you know, a higher level of respect. I don't mind that the level of respect goes down and people start treating me like a friend. I've always wanted to be friends with all my fans, and, you know, I think it's incredible that I'm friends with a lot of my fans. And, you know, just because I'm friends with a lot of my fans doesn't mean they stop watching my videos. You know, they still, you know, watch my videos. You know, it's just great that, like, you know, people, when they start getting to know me, they already have a higher, you know, viewpoint on me, which is very good and which starts the friendship pretty well. Whereas a normal friendship, I feel like you'd have to, you know, do a little bit to, you know, impress the person to even, you know, strike up a friendship with them. It definitely is easier for me to become friends with fans because they already, you know, want to hang out with me. Another thing is that, you know, they all, you know, like similar things to me. Lumber Tycoon 2 or just video games in general. Therefore, since most of my fans have a, you know, very similar passions to me, you know, it makes it very easy to get along with them too. Well, I'm not saying I wouldn't get along with someone who didn't have those similar interests as me, all right? But also, you know, like, easier to, you know, be friends with, I guess you could say. The way I talked there sounded a little weird. I was gonna end it as a question, and then I was like, wait, no, I want to end it as a statement. So then I started talking as if that was a question, but then I turned it quickly into a statement. So that's why I sounded so weird when I said that. I'm pretty sure I've done that before. Having a large fan base, especially if you connect with that fan base, also makes you very powerful as well. Not talking about physical strength, but, you know, mentally. Getting to know a lot of fans and getting to know them on a deeper level is very healthy. You know, you have a lot of friendships. The, you know, chances of you being depressed majorly reduce as well. Charles 10, Maple Alex, and a couple other fans, you know, were depressed. But then when they came to the channel, that, like, majorly reduced the chances of being depressed, and they hardly are depressed anymore. But getting to know all my fans, you know, they will say, like, you know, personal stories and stuff, you know, once I know them more. And that actually gives me more leverage in terms of knowledge. You know, how they will explain how they've, like, dealt with, like, terrible situations that happened in their life. I've heard a lot of stories, or just for interest, you know, some other stories, you know, I'm, you know, start hearing a ton of stories, and it's just very interesting, and it, you know, keeps me pretty interested, and also keeps me happy, because, you know, there's a lot of, like, distracting things, you know. But actually, I'm talking more when it was when I was, like, you know, like, whenever I get over not bad things, get over things, and I'm really sad, you know, having a ton of fans helps the process out by a high percentage. Sometimes I just like to sit down and think. I'm like, that is very interesting that I, you know, hear all these, like, stories. Also, another thing I do have to mention is that, you know, a lot of friendships in the JB dragmotoxboss community has been created, and they wouldn't have happened if it weren't for me creating my channel. All right. Now, you know, maybe they wouldn't have happened if it weren't for me being so social with my fans. Maybe not. Or maybe, you know, some people who are fans of me would, get together in a member VC and then get to know each other through my channel, but me doing absolutely nothing to bring those people together. Also, shocking thing, and I've said this before, if you were to take everybody, if you were to list off all the people that I would know that did not get introduced to me because of my YouTube channel, it's a small list, maybe even a list that I can count on my hands, all right? And I'm talking about like a friends list that I would say consider us, pretty good friends, all right? So, anyways. So if it weren't for my fan base, blah, 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 like all these people I would not know of, right? In fact, I would not have ever gotten into a relationship, and I would not have ever, gone through my first true love experience and gone through my first true breakup. And, I'm very happy that I did, because it gives me experience. It's better to go through your first heartbreak when you're younger as opposed to being older. So, I'm very thankful for that. But if I never got popular in YouTube, well, if I didn't have a YouTube channel or, hardly worked on it, hardly gained any fame or anything like that, these would be the only people that would really be in my life in terms of like online friends and, maybe IRL friends and close IRL friends and stuff like that. Well, actually, I'm really just listing the people who have been in the who are in the JV Drag Motocross Boss community, maybe not all the people who really are. All right, let me start. Obviously, we have Hugo and VR and Jake the Fox. That's obvious. There's a guy named James who was in my chat before. I'm friends of him in school. All right, pretty good friends of him. There's a guy named G Squared who is a year older than me. KDR Sponge, The Positive P, Cash Money Duck, Mini Mike. Mini Mike has really not been on in a while. Ty JJ, Nate Gaiman, and believe it or not, Lion Nation is actually one of the only JB Drag Motocross Boss community members that I would actually know if it weren't for my YouTube channel. Surprising enough, you'd think Lion Nation would be a fan or something, like brought to my channel because he's a fan of my content. Who knows? Nope. I would still know him. I would still receive legendary stories, all right? Thank goodness. I mean, yeah, my YouTube channel's brought me a lot of stuff, but it's inevitable for me to hear those legendary Lion Nation stories. It's inevitable, all right? It is my destiny to hear those legendary Lion Nation girl stories. If I had a channel or not, I'm still hearing those stories. There's a guy named Boldev who has showed up in chat a few times and almost got put into a collab. He's not super active. Later Planet 7448. Obviously Madman Pets, because that's my father. Gojo the Giga Chad. Jake the Odd One. And, forgive me if I forgot to mention any people, because there's just so many people in my life. One more. One more that I can think of at least. Cozy Kids. All right. Now, I'll explain why those all people would be in my life. Jake the Fox, KDR Sponge, Hugo and VR, those three people, and James, they're pretty close friends IRL. I know them from school. The Positive P and Cash Money Duck, I also know them from school. But I'm pretty sure, this is just a theory, but I'm pretty sure that Mini Mike hyped me up because, my name used to be thrown around and I used to have popularity back then in 7th grade in school. Not much, but people would know me and stuff. So I think that might have hyped up Mini Mike. And Positive P probably recalls me from 2014, and Cash Money Duck is just like, okay, yep, let's be friends with him. So that's how they're in the community now. By the way, I actually remember going into a special forgive me, Cash Money Duck, if you really don't want this out there, but I don't think you really care that much. Me and him were actually in a speech therapy group in school in 5th grade. I've known him for a long time. Then later, Planet 7448, I met through an online friend that I've been friends with since 2017. All right, May or July of 2017. I actually forget that one. There's no more icewood to get, so I'm gonna start working on building on my base before I'm done talking about this subject. Yeah, this is a twist of an icewood video, huh? One day in October of 2021, I saw a couple VCs in Heath Haskin CodePrimate's server, all right? And I was not entirely sure if you could just go in and talk to people, so I just went in and I'm like, oh, are you allowed to go in and talk to people? And TyJJ was like, yeah. TyJJ and Nate Gaming were both there. And it's kind of funny to think that, you know, I met them both the same day because, you know, I don't know about you guys, but, you know, I feel like TyJJ and Nate Gaming are so far different from each other, and they're hardly on at the same time as well. In fact, TyJJ has not been on recently, period. Huh. TyJJ and I became so close to friends to the point of where he wanted to introduce me to his little friend group of some people that he knew IRL, all right, or known IRL at one point in time, or, you know, a couple of those people who know him IRL know that, like another person in that group, IRL. I was the first and only person that was inducted into the group that none of them knew IRL. In fact, one of the kids actually got banned from the server by his parents due to their parents' strictness. I will go as far as saying that, and I will not disclose what parent. That's a whole like separate piece of drama, separate from the JB dragmotoxboss community too. Quite interesting. Then we have Lion Nation, who I met through Nate Gaming. Me and Nate Gaming were one time playing Lumber Tycoon 2, and then he's like, oh, my friend wants to help me with a door bridge. And then boom, the legend himself walks in and says, hey guys, I need help with my door bridge. Can someone help me out with my door bridge? Imagine that legendary storyteller kid's voice saying that right now. That's what he said back then, December of 2021. And then I also met Boldev through Lion Nation. Now, we were all like in a little group where Boldev was making a bowling game, and then he basically released it as 2022 struck. And I remember us all sitting there, like, VCing almost every single day. Me, Nate Gaming, Lion Nation, Boldev. But, yeah, me and Lion Nation actually sat in a voice call every single day together. And this is back then when I only had, like, 170, 180-ish something subscribers. By the way, I have to give credit to that group. They gave me the idea to make my own door bridge tutorial, which actually did well for the channel. I mean, I can say at least Redoways, you know, got introduced to my channel. I have not spoken to him in a while. Redoways got introduced to my channel because of that one video, all right? It's pretty cool that, you know, if I would have never joined that VC of TyJJ and Nate Gaming ever, then I wouldn't have never gotten Redoways as a fan because, well, maybe sooner or later someone would, like, recommend me. I'd, like, think of it or recommend me to do a door bridge tutorial. So maybe not that one, but I would never know Lion Nation. Maybe I would eventually know Lion Nation because it turns out Lion Nation's actually a fan of Games 4.2. He pretty much forgot, but Lion Nation is a fan of Games 4.2 through watching Games 4.2 on YouTube. Like, you know, over a year ago. And I also wouldn't have known Boldev. All right. And by the way, I got introduced to TyJJ's friend group in January of 2022. All right. That was a much different January from the January from this year, I could say, at the very least. It is really hard to cut N wood, even with like a saw, with this saw system there. And last but not least, best for last, I actually met an online friend who I still did not reconnect with. I really should. Basically, I met him in early 2020 through Lumber Tycoon 2, I think, because, you know, that is so crazy that it was probably through Lumber Tycoon 2. On Xbox, or maybe it was through Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2. I'm pretty sure it was Lumber Tycoon 2. Yeah, it probably was Lumber Tycoon 2. You know, back then I used to play all the time with KDR Sponge, and you know that person probably met KDR Sponge, to be honest with you. Anyways, I decided to, you know, one day, you know, start speaking to him again in like mid 2021, and then one day I joined a party with him, and Gojo the Giga Chad, the one and only, happened to be in the party. And that was the first time I've ever spoken to Gojo. And, you know, I like told Gojo, hey, do you want to join my Discord server and stuff like that? Like I asked him. And, you know, basically from there, this is such a beautiful story because Gojo the Giga Chad is like, you know, one of my closest friends of all time, probably like within like the top 10 range or something. I don't know. I invited Gojo the Giga Chad to my Discord server. He was, you know, one of the only people in the JB Drag Motocross Boss community who is in the JB Drag Motocross Boss community and pretty active nowadays. Well, one of the only people who joined, like, you know, before it was open to the fan base and stuff like that. Astro Alex also joined before I opened it up to the fan base. It was Astro Alex is pretty much the first like official fan, I'd say, that I like really met. All right, Astro Alex is persistent on meeting me, so that's how I got like really early access. And in fact, believe it or not, I actually was sweating bullets and I was like scared. I'm like, am I sure I should be doing a collab with Astro Alex? Like, he's younger. I'm 15 years old, and that might seem weird. No, it's not that weird. It's really not. You're just doing a collab. It's not. I'm literally 17 years old right now, and you know, sometimes, you know, like sometimes I collab with, you know, kids who are like 12, 13, you know, it's not bad. It's not, you know, I'm also a kid too. I'm not that much older than them. I'm still, you know, in school. They're also in school, you know. I am getting so far out of topic, and this is taking forever to chop. This really takes a long time. So basically, whenever I go overkill with like too much information in a video, I'll just go here and click this button over and over and over and over and over again. And look at that, I'm at 5.7 mil in Lumber Tycoon 2. Nice. So basically, over time, you know, me and Gojo the Giga Chad would, you know, talk, you know, once a month or something. And I remember talking to him before I edited Best JB Drag Motocross Boss 2020 to 2021, and you know, he was showing me Russian Badger, best of Russian Badger. By the way, cursing and inappropriate talk on that channel. Best of Russian Badger 2021, and yeah, that gave me like a lot of inspiration. So I went ahead and, you know, made that video. Kind of funny, kind of synchronistic, because literally last video I was just talking about myself editing Best of JB Drag Motocross Boss 2022, and all the ghosts like being bored of me because I haven't, you know, spoken in the basement for like so long. And I still, to this day, I think they assume that I've just gone boring and I, you know, peaked in mid-December or latest December of 2022. They thought it was going downhill. They thought I already peaked in funniness. I truly believe that. And last story but not least, about Jake the Odd One. He's cousins or step cousins or something to Gojo the Giga Chad, and you know, Gojo introduced him to me, and you know, because I was pretty good friends with Gojo, and you know, Astro Alex is a fan of my channel, and you know, last summer, you know, most of the time it was me, Astro Alex, Gojo the Giga Chad, and Jake the Odd One. The ultimate, you know, four group. I don't know how you call it, four group, like quadret or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's quadret. And I thought it was pretty cool that like one of them was that I met through an online friend. And by the way, I do have to say, you know, Gojo does not primarily play Lumber Tycoon 2, but the person I met, that I met Gojo through, likes Lumber Tycoon 2. And is not in the JB Drag Motocross Boss community as of right now, which is really funny. I should go and talk to him, and I should be like, have you heard of JB Drag Motocross Boss? And he's like, wait, you're him? You actually, you know, got a lot better in life and like actually ran a channel. I didn't know that one of my friends, you know, actually went and made this channel. That's super cool. Or maybe he won't know who I'm talking. He won't know who JB Drag Motocross Boss is. Who knows? Another person is, you know, I met through Gojo. Jake the Odd One I met through Gojo. And then, you know, Astro Alex being, you know, used to be the biggest fan. But, you know, I just love doing YouTube. I love, you know, meeting a bunch of people. Are these even cutting? I'm not entirely sure. But, you know, there's something else that I'm going to mention before I end this video that, you know, is something cool to, I think these are chopping. Something cool to keep in mind, all right? And that is that, you know, unlike most teenagers, unlike most people, the way I have friends is, or at least most of my friends, is, you know, mostly different. Maybe not that different from, you know, people having online friends, you know, kind of somewhat similar, but mine is still different. You know, most of my friends are through my community, and, you know, most people, what they'll do is they'll usually, like, be like, hey, let's hang out this day, let's hang out that day. I usually don't do that. The only person I really do that with anymore is Jake the Fox. That's, like, one of the only people, and you go in VR as well. Those two are the only people I really, like, set up, like, times, like, oh, do you want to play this with me? We can play then, or whatever. Usually everybody else, I just stream and then everybody just joins live stream VC, or I just sit in member VC and everyone just hops in and joins. Whenever I stream, people just know to be there. They get the notification and then they hang out with me. That's usually how it is. And, you know, since, you know, most of my friends look up to me and I have the upper hand, you know, they usually just go along with it and, you know, watch streams. And to be fair, and, you know, and be in the streams. And to be fair, all my friends from, you know, friends/fans are technically not friends. They're not normal friends. They're fans of my channel. Therefore, you know, a normal friend would make a special request, or vice versa. There'd be a special request that they would make on me, right, to do, and the fans normally don't do that. It's kind of more of like a, you know, YouTuber to fan connection. Now, I'm not saying, you know, anybody who is having, like, personal issues or something should be afraid to reach out to me. Do not be afraid to reach out to me. If you really need me, and, you know, you're dealing with something in your personal life, do not be afraid. You know, I will be there for you. I will take time out of my day for that. But I'm saying in terms of, like, wanting to play, like, a specific game or something, usually, you know, I won't. I'm just usually, you know, people normally just don't ask. They just roll with it and they just hang out with me on stream. Whereas a normal person, you know, would message their friend, hey, let's play this, let's play that. And then the other friend would, like, agree. And, you know, they'd sometimes set up times that, you know, they'd play with their friend and stuff like that. And, you know, another aspect here, like a relationship. You know, whenever the average person starts talking to someone else, they, you know, don't know, they never meet, you know, that person's friends until they actually start dating them, and then they make proper introductions. My case with me and my ex is different. Well, my ex first off just started off as a fan, even if she wasn't a fan of my channel. You know, if, you know, that person I was talking to wanted to hang out with me more by spending time with me during my streams, then, you know, they kind of already meet most of the people that I talk to in 2023. But here's the catch. I just don't tell them. I just don't tell the fans/friends that, you know, I'm talking to this said person. So it's kind of like different. And I find it, you know, pretty interesting how, like, a circumstance can be like that. Are these actually chopping? Are these chopping? Okay. I think I just wasted a boatload of time because I don't think the saw actually does anything, but it's very misleading. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. About 10 chops. So then if I go over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, it turns out I actually have to chop these manually. That is crappy. That is absolutely crappy. The saw makes an initial mark making you think that they're being chopped, but they actually don't chop that phantom wood. I just wasted a boatload of time that I could have gotten stuff productive done. Do I care? No. I still made a great video out of it.